On March 15, 1939, Nazi Germany invaded Czechoslovakia, breaking the agreement it had signed with Great Britain and France the year before in Munich. The invasion jolted British and French leaders and convinced them that Adolf Hitler, the German Chancellor, could not be trusted to honor his agreements and was likely to keep committing aggressions until stopped by a force or a massive deterrent. In the previous year, Hitler had annexed Austria and had taken the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia. In March 1939, his tanks rolled into the rest of Czechoslovakia. It appeared that he was determined to undo the international order set up by the Treaty of Versailles, the 1919 peace settlement that ended World War I. This treaty required Germany to make numerous concessions and reparations. It was highly unpopular with Hitler and his Nazi party. It also seemed that Hitler was planning to strike next against its neighbor Poland. To block him, France and Britain pledged on March 31, 1939, to guarantee Poland's security and independence. The Britain and French also stepped up diplomatic engagement with the Soviet Union, trying to draw it closer by trade and other agreements to make Hitler see he would also have to face Joseph Stalin if he invaded Poland. But Hitler already knew the Soviets would not stand by if he tried to occupy Poland, an act that would extend the border of Germany right up next to the Soviet Union. He also knew France and the Soviets had conducted a defense alliance several years earlier, a treaty that gave Stalin an additional reason to fight Germany if it ventured into Poland and triggered France's pledge. It was clear during the tense spring and summer of 1939 that little could be taken for granted. In May, Germany and Italy signed a major treaty of alliance, and Hitler's representatives had begun conducting important trade talks with the Soviets. But just 2 years prior, Hitler had called the Soviet Union, and I quote, "the greatest danger for the culture and civilization of mankind which has ever threatened it since the collapse of the ancient world." On August 23, 1939, shortly before World War II broke out in Europe, enemies Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union surprised the world by signing the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact, in which the two countries agreed to take no military action against each other for the next 10 years. With Europe on the brink of another major war, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin viewed the pact as a way to keep his nation on peaceful terms with Germany, while also giving him time to build up the Soviet military. German Chancellor Adolf Hitler used the pact to make sure Germany was able to invade Poland unopposed. The pact also contained a secret agreement in which the Soviets and Germans agreed how they would later divide up Eastern Europe. The German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact fell apart in June of 1941, when Hitler and his Nazi forces invaded the Soviet Union, betraying his word to Stalin. What went unsaid between these leaders before Hitler's fall on April 30th of 1945? Here are their stories.
Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by camera 6. If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. I'm taking people with real problems.
Hello, and welcome to Dr. Phil. I'm your host, Dr. Phil. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Today's topic, World War Dose. Everyone knows the stories. Big bombs, Nazis, Anne Frank. But who do most people blame? Das would be Hitler. Who else better to explain why Hitler is a war-starting bud than my dear fellow mustache friend, Stalin. Please welcome him. Are you there to me, amigo?
Yeah.
So, could you please tell us more about our other guest, Hitler?
Well, I guess you guys think I start from the beginning. I was born long ago, back in 1878. I lived my first years in this cruel, heartless world, struggling with poverty. I was not happy with our current government, so when the opportunity presented itself, I joined the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution in 1917. I was appointed General Secretary of the Central Committee. Shortly after Lenin's death, I came into full control of the great Mother Russia. Following years after my glorious leadership of Russia, unrest was in my Western counterparts. So I decided what was best for my people and signed the non-aggression pact with Hitler! He broke it!
For that reason, do You're not supposed to be here yet.
Let me explain. My stomach, it had the rumblies that only forbidding land could quench.
You betrayed your dear friend Stalin for measly pieces of land? I was the victim! Now hold on. Maybe he actually has a reason. Hitler, can you tell us your story?
Gladly. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be an artist.
It all started when I was a young man. My father had died and I went to Vienna to study art and paint. But the stupid Jewish run-down horseball did not accept me. So I sold postcards and eventually joined World War I. I loved it and rose very quickly. After the World War, Germany was shamed. We fell into the Great Depression. Our children were starving, money was worthless, and I fell into politics at coffee shops and spoke in front of the National Socialists. Became their leader, wrote Mein Kampf. All was good. But I had Lebensraum to fulfill, and he was trying to stop me.
Okay, you didn't get into art school. I trusted you. I never trusted anyone.
I'm sorry, I had a hunger. It was Lebensraum.
I see what you're saying, Hitler. Now, Stalin, do you really want to keep hating your one of the best friends you've ever had? It's been almost 50 years.
I guess you're right.
Now, come on, guys. Hug it out. So the historical dispute is over. Thank you for watching with us. I'm Dr. Phil.
Swagger, 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 swagger.